Hello, everybody. Scott Golden here with the Pro Wrestling Logic YouTube channel and the World Class Championship Wrestling Review Series. We are moving quickly through uh, October of 1984, and we will move further into that with this episode, which is the uh, October 13th episode, interview heavy, which is cool. I like to see character development, and I wish that interviews today were done nearly as well as they were back in the 80s, early 90s. Every once in a while, you'll see a good promo, but the majority of them, yeah, they're lacking. Anyway, Kevin Von Erich addressing the Chris Adams situation from the previous week talks about how he feels betrayed, talks about how he feels misled, and how everyone likes Chris, and he doesn't blame them for that, but he will not stand for a man laying his hand on a woman. He will not stand for Gary Hart telling Adams to leave him behind or getting kicked in the face. And so we talk a good bit about that. We move into Jake Roberts in kind of a junkyard, old, dilapidated backyard sort of area. Jake talks about the rules of the world being set before he came in. One, everything can change. He doesn't know what the future holds because the future is kind of yet to be determined. And he talks about how the rules were set before he came in. He didn't make them. He's not to blame for the world falling apart. Just a really awesome promo. Kind of hypes the need to go at the Von Erichs, and worth watching this just for character development purposes. I've never seen a guy who's more poetic in a promo, but really doesn't say anything that gives anything away. Worth watching. Go out of your way to see this. Kerry Von Erich talks about wanting to back his brother up should the need be there after the betrayal of Chris Adams and Gary Hart last week. Talks about how they've done wrong. Talks about how eventually Kevin will face Chris Adams somewhere down the road, and he wants to be there for his brother. Also, the Rock and Soul tag team connection of Buck Zumhoff and Iceman King Parsons, who at this point are the tag team champions of the area. They talk about their own challenges there with, believing, and especially King Parsons really caught off guard by it, believing what Adams has done. He's in shock, and we're light on matches this week. Only 3 matches in total, but that's okay. Jake Roberts and Tony Torres is the first match of the week. Obviously, a match to highlight Roberts, and that is to be expected here. Torres been around a while, but Roberts not impressed by this. Takes a cheap shot to the midsection, and we start to see the arm wringer almost moving towards the short clothesline, but that has not been invented yet. I wonder if that actually came about for him anyway in the WWF, or if that's something beforehand. Obviously, it's not here done in world class as a major thing, so worth noting. Roberts, though, you know, will take each blow and make it matter, make it count. Body slam by Roberts. Roberts standing over his opponent. Deceptively tall is Jake Roberts if you think about it. Short knee lift by Roberts, gaining or maintaining the advantage, keeping the man down on the mat. Does give him enough to come back a bit. Take some bumps for some arm drags and the like. One thing that Roberts does really, really well is always make sure that his opponent, unless it's a 100% squash match, looks strong. Punches him right between the eyes. Referee unimpressed with this, unhappy with this. Gut buster across the top rope, and Jake kind of drops him. Almost mocks his attempt to be aggressive, assertive, whatever have you. Slapping away at him, kind of going at him, and getting under his skin. Obviously, Jake hits that DDT. 1, 2, 3, and it's over. Jake Roberts with your victory here. We move into the semi-main event, Art Cruz, who's been here a couple times before, but this is not a dominant territory for him, against Mike Von Erich. Von Erich, obviously, the Von Erich name needs to be restored after the heinous attack of last week by Chris Adams, and we see that here. We see that in the form of Mike coming out and taking care of Art Cruz. Cruz, a bit of a journeyman wrestler. Von Erich still in his first couple of years as a pro, not really sure, and he's a little smaller. Stays on the arm, does Von Erich, actually stays and rolls through a body slam, believe it or not. And it is there. And they're in quite a bit of action. Anyway, we see Cruz trying to regain his wherewithal, his bearings and whatnot, but doesn't get everything he wants out of that. Arm drag, and again a series of arm drags by Von Erich. Von Erich comes out, and it is clear that Cruz, the advantageous guy, but always kind of falls back into folly with Mike Von Erich. Von Erich waits for Cruz to come back up. Cruz uses power, certainly has more of a stocky, manly body figure than his opponent does. Not mocking Mike Von Erich, but certainly no one would accuse him of being over muscular. Monkey flip out of the corner, rare move to see. Even in '84, monkey flip was a bigger thing in other territories, I guess. But Von Erich makes his way back with the benefit of some police officers after his win. He does get a victory here. The victory coming, I won't say out of nowhere, but a botched leapfrog is part of that, and sends him back into the ropes. Forearm type maneuver 1, 2, and 3 out of nowhere off a flying forearm, and something went wrong in the finish of that match. If you want to see how things go wrong, watch the finish of that. The tag team champions, the Rock and Soul Connection versus the Long Riders. Long Riders, of course, the Irwin brothers, Scott and Bill. Long Riders are, a bit of a journeyman tag team, but they're given respect here. They're here for quite a while, actually, in Texas. Zumhoff goes at them pretty aggressively early. The champions take Scott Irwin down early. The Irwins are planning and plotting on the outside, trying to figure out how to be, the best team they can be. And it's odd that there was a much different body frame to both of them, but they both the Irwins, Scott and Bill, put on considerable weight, more barrel chested as time goes by. We see Buck Zumhoff with a series of arm drags and slows the match down, works over the challengers quite a bit here. And Bill Irwin, at this point, has dropped off, at least in my opinion, in athletic ability. I don't think he's moving quite as well when he has that extra weight on him, and I do think it shows over time. A spill to the outside of the ring kind of catches everybody off guard, I think, including the ringsiders, as Irwin goes spilling to the outside. Iceman King Parsons, who's been here the majority of our run, finally getting some gold, which is cool for him. Wish he had it with a different partner, but that's just a matter of personal preference. Anyway, we do see the heels cut things off on Parsons a bit. Parsons takes a good bit of punishment over the next several minutes. They slow the match back down. Interesting that when Iceman gets in there, there's always a fiery comeback. If you need to study how to create a fiery comeback in short spurts. Let's say 60 to 90 seconds. King Parsons worth studying. Hot tag to Buck Zumhoff with a couple minutes left in the program. Zumhoff goes completely nuts on his opponents here and starts cleaning house on the challengers. They've got less than 2 minutes left in the program, and yet everybody's in the ring now, ready to close out and clear out. The champions are beaten down until almost that last minute. Bronco Luvic losing control of the match, losing control of who's in the contest. The Irwins try to set something up, but a miscommunication between the brothers leads to a clothesline, one brother to another from the top rope, and Zumhoff gets caught with a kick over the shoulder and a win for the Irwins. And amazingly, the Long Riders have defeated the tag team champions here in the 13th of October, 1984, and the happiness of Skandor Akbar is element as he has, or evident as he has regained championship gold in his stable here in October of '84 here in World Class. We'll be back with more right after this.